soundtrack, I'd like to present to you the show that talks about tech, talks about everything digital, the zeros and ones, the megahertz, gigahertz, and I know you probably thought I was going to say something like terahertz or petahertz, but we don't reach there yet. We're still in gigahertz. But I'll throw in some petabytes and gigabytes. Yes, Geek Squad, we're here. And it's been a while. It's been 4 weeks since we were on radio. We've always been on stream, on YouTube and Facebook, doing our thing over there. So for those of you who followed us around, yes, we were there and we enjoyed ourselves as much. We are also live on Facebook today and on YouTube as well. And if you missed this show or missed any of our episodes before today, you can find our podcast. If you're using an iPhone, go to your Apple Podcast, just look for Joy Geek Squad. Yeah, you have to add the Joy because it's on Joy FM. And if you're on Google, go to your Google Podcast, look for Joy Geek Squad. If you want to watch it, all our episodes are recorded on the Joy 99.7 FM YouTube. So, yeah, we've been talking tech for more than 3 years, every Tuesday, same time. So always make a date. And today, we're going to talk about something I saw on the news, and I'm sure you probably also saw it too if you follow tech around. Ghana was ranked 3rd in Africa on the Global Cybersecurity Index. Now we're going to ask ourselves some questions about this, like what does the ranking mean? Like, should we be worried? Should we be happy? Should we be interested? How did we contribute to it? When I say how did we, I mean you and I, the citizens and the geeks. How did we contribute to getting there? Or it just happened, you know? It just went around like the census people collecting data and they said, okay, based on what we found out, Ghana is 3rd. Or did we go and run a race, a cybersecurity race, and then we came 3rd? If we did, who represented us? Was it Michael, Winston, or some other geek out there? Anyways, we're not going to have that conversation about Olympics or Tech Olympics. It's going to be a meaningful conversation. And we have two gentlemen from the E-Crime Bureau and some cybersecurity experts from the National Cybersecurity Center. And they're going to help us understand what all of this means. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves, gentlemen, so that we can go on with the conversation. So the floor is yours. Your name and your portfolio, as you like to put it. Your name and your portfolio. Yes, sir.
Okay, Isaac Socrates Mensah.
Right.
I'm an officer with the National Cybersecurity Center.
Great. And
right, I am Aaron Felix Opoku-Boateng, an officer of the National Cybersecurity Center.
right, so these are officers from the National Cybersecurity Center. They're very important cybersecurity people. See how the way the man is looking at me, I feel like he's hacked me right now without even trying. And then, as usual, we have the usual suspects, Winston and Michael. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Yes. So before I get to our officers, I'd like to ask Winston, Michael, have you heard that Ghana is ranking 3rd on the National Cybersecurity Index?
I saw the news.
Right.
I saw the news and I was happy. If that was the case, then it's like, oh, that means that we are learning from our lessons. Because when the topic came up, I immediately went back to the previous incidents that in the past that we discussed over the show. Like, what has happened since then? And as is the way with cybersecurity happening, if you're not hearing anything, it's one of two things. Things are going really well,
Or things
or
are
things
going
are going
really
really
bad.
bad, but you don't know. Which is, well, I'm an optimist, so I was thinking, okay, clearly ranking there, but wait, who was ahead of us?
So we'll get there.
So it was actually very interesting. We saw it in the news, and even today, Michael and I talked about it. That it's been a while since we've seen some websites defaced by some hackers, like any government, and we're like, yeah, that seems like a very good sign.
Or some massive data leak involving
Any-
our stuff,
yeah,
aside mobile money, but that's a separate thing.
I remember. I mean, I was like, the last time I heard any of those things was when I was in uni, which is about 5 years ago.
Wow. So it's been 5 years since you had a site, like a national website being
Yeah,
defaced.
being defaced.
Yeah, very
So-
true.
Because I remember when I was in tech at the time, tech's website got defaced, which was an interesting thing altogether.
Probably a tech student anyway.
But yeah, we had the news and it was really good. And like Michael said, when it comes to cybersecurity, it's either you have everything secure, or the person who is after you is so inside the system that you can't find the person. All in all, you feel like it's all good. So if you don't hear anything, it's great.
Okay, so with that, we're going to go to the officers. And you see, on this show, usually we like using nicknames. So do you guys have nicknames?
No, we just fine with the first names.
Cool. Honestly, it's just my way of avoiding forgetting your names. So
That's fair.
yeah, it's a typical thing. So Michael, you were asking who was ahead of us. So apparently Mauritius and Tanzania were ahead of us. Yes, on the index, which is a good thing because our brothers who are always fighting with us over Jollof are not ahead of us.
I mean,
That I'm happy for.
sometimes I wonder if they even know what an internet connection is over there. So really, they don't really have any claims to come.
Let's not
and-
go start another war on Twitter before they
These
come
tables
at
that you are
us.
shaking.
I can start all the wars I want because they don't have access to Twitter anymore.
No, these
well.
tables you are shaking.
Or they have access to VPNs.
Which is
So-
not legal for them.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they are literally coming here to use our internet and access our Twitter for their
Their
space
stuff.
back
I
home.
won't be surprised if very soon our trends are all with Nigerian
Yeah,
trends.
because they can't do it from home. So yeah,
That's actually very good business. We should probably create VPNs for Nigerians.
yep.
Yeah.
So the L there's all theirs. We have the wins. Where are you on the table? Below us.
So let me start with Aaron. What does ranking higher on the cybersecurity index mean? Because for a lot of people, most of the time when we hear that Ghana is ranking high in something, we think, oh, it means that we're doing that thing very well. And it's usually synonymous to things like corruption and, say Ghana is high on the corruption list. Now, finally, we are high on a good list, right?
Yeah.
So what does it mean?
All right. Before I begin, I'll say a very good evening to your listeners and your team, and also we would like to appreciate that our boss of the National Cybersecurity Center, Dr. Albert Nkubu was the one supposed to be here, but then he's caught up with another important engagement, so he just designated that we step in instead. You asked what does our ranking on the Global Cybersecurity Index means. Before I even answer that, I think it's fair that I let listeners and your panelists appreciate what the index is really about.
Right.
So the Global Cybersecurity Index is a model by the International Telecommunication Union. Now the International Telecommunication Union, that's the ITU, is an agency under the UN that's responsible for ICT development. So they developed this model, is a systematic model or metric that measures every country's commitment to cybersecurity, and also raise awareness on how cybersecurity is being developed in the various countries. Now, this metric or this model measures every country's commitment to cybersecurity around 5 key pillars. Now, we have the legal measures, we have the technical measures, we have the organizational measures, we have capacity building development, and we have cooperative measures. Now, the legal measures has to do with, now we are in Ghana. Let's try and assess Ghana's cybersecurity readiness or preparedness. Now, does Ghana have any legal instruments on cybersecurity or on data protection or anything related to cybersecurity, data privacy, like those kind of anything related to cybersecurity matters? Now, technology. Does the country has any functioning incident response team or any technology solutions that will be up for cyber defense and cyber protective operations? Now we talk about organizational structure or measures. Now organizational measures has to do with cybersecurity is a multi-sectorial kind of or multi-stakeholder kind of agenda. There's no way government can pursue cybersecurity alone. Government needs to pursue cybersecurity with a collaborative effort from the private sector, from NGOs, from individuals, from everybody on board. Now the organizational measure has to do with how well our security are being coordinated or is being coordinated within the various sectors in our economy. Now we talk about capacity building development. It has to do with our skills development and our human resource development towards our self-reliance as a nation. Now the last one, which has to do with cooperative measures, of course, cybersecurity and cybercrime is a cross-border commodity. There's no way you can do cybersecurity without engaging your neighbor, I mean the other countries from the global space. So it has to do with how well you are coordinating with those bilateral engagements to mitigate any form of cybercrime, and also learning from cybersecurity best practices from these countries. Now, the GCI, that's the Global Cybersecurity Index, was launched in 2015. And this year's or last year's the current report is for 2019 and 2020. So the data that was collected was collated during the COVID era. So the first iteration was in 2015, the second was in 2017, the third 2018, and of course the fourth. Now in 2017, which of course we began our cybersecurity journey, 2017 we achieved or we scored 32.6%, which ranked us 10th in Africa. Now in 2018, we scored 43.7%, which also scored us or ranked us 11th in Africa. Now fast forward 2019-2020, we scored 87.69%, which ranks us third in Africa. Now people may be wondering what are the things that we put in place that's necessitated or that gave us this kind of score. I will touch on a bit of them, then my colleague will come in. So let's talk about, I'll pick each pillar, that's the 5 key pillars that I mentioned, then I'll touch on which or the specific initiative or intervention that we implemented that would give us that score. Now when we talk about legal measures, I talked about whether we have the legal instruments or regimes that is regulating our cyberspace. Now we introduced the Cybersecurity Act, that's 2020-1038, last year around December. That is like a major intervention that is going to spearhead our cybersecurity development. It's going to be, implemented together with already existed legal instruments such as the Data Protection Act, Electronic Communications Act, Electronic Transactions Act, and quite a lot of them as well. Now that is for legal measures, and again let me stress on this: their metric or their factors that they measured the legal measure on was around data privacy, cybersecurity legal instruments, and whether you have any legislation that addresses online harassment and all those things. And like I said, these cybersecurity acts and the data protection and all those things, by one way or the other, addresses these kind of issues. So we score really high in that area. Now, technical measures, we have an existing and functioning set. That's a national set. We've facilitated the establishment of a number of sectoral sets. We have the National Communications Set, which is responsible for the telecommunications sector. We have the Bank of Ghana Security Operations Center, which is responsible for the financial sector. We have the National Information Technology Agency, SOC, that's the Security Operations Center, which is responsible for the government sector. And there are lots which we are kindly out, like recently, or we are currently facilitating for the establishment. Now, we have deployed a cyber crime incident reporting points of contacts. There are 6. My colleague will delve more into that. There are 6 activated platforms that we've deployed to citizens for them to report any cyber related incident with ease to the center. Now, the another landmark achievement pertaining to the technical measure has to do with we joining first. That's the forum of incident response and security teams. It's just to boost our incident response and reporting procedures and mechanisms. My colleague here will touch more. He's in that area, so he's going to delve more into it. Now, that has to do with technical. Now, the organizational has to do with, okay, the areas that they were considering were, do you have an updated national cybersecurity strategy? Do you have any mechanism or ways of protecting your CII, that's critical information infrastructure? Now, these two areas, one, we had an existing national cybersecurity policy and strategy, which we implemented from 2016. Now, the policy and strategy, consistent with best practices, it has to be implemented within 5-year period. So the old policy and strategy, if I have to refer to that, was implemented between 2016 and it elapsed its implementation period in I think 2020. That's 5 years. So we've revised it for it to be current, to address current development and trends in the cyberspace. So one, that means we've scored in that area, that metric of them trying to detect if whether you have an updated national cybersecurity strategy. Now, what are the mechanisms or ways that we've put in place in protecting CII? Now, we've developed a cyber critical information infrastructure directive, and again, the act outlines a lot of procedures and things that we need to do to protect our CIIs, and even the revised policy and strategy. So that's also contributed to our score. Now let's go to capacity building. Capacity development. Now we are implementing, or we've been implementing this campaign called A Safer Digital Ghana. It was a campaign which was launched by the Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, on October 1, 2018. Is a 5-year campaign which is aimed at building capacity and raising awareness on cybercrime, and also improving on the country's cybersecurity readiness. It is targeted at 4 pillars. 1, children. 2, the public. 3, businesses. And 4, government. So out of this A Safer Digital Ghana campaign, we have this flagship program which we celebrate annually. That is the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We conduct this awareness month or events in October every year from 2017 to date. Now that's awareness event covers or revolve around building capacity and also raising awareness on cybercrime. It includes regional activities. We go to every region. We target students. We target government MDAs. We target private institutions, businesses, NGOs, name them. Market women. We do a lot of media engagements as well. So that is it, and that also contributed to our score in that area. Now the last bits, then I'll leave for my colleague who come in. Cooperative measures has to do with your bilateral and multilateral engagements, those conventions and treaties that you sign to be able to address or mitigate cybercrime. Now we've ratified the Convention on Cybercrime, which is also known as the Budapest Convention, and also the African Union Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection. That's the Malabo Convention. Now these 2 conventions helps with our mitigation of cybercrime and also improve on our cybersecurity readiness. Again, or last but not the least, we have adopted the recently launched ECOWAS Regional Cybercrime Strategy and also Regional Critical Information Infrastructure Policy. Now the last bits, then I will drop, is with the Digital Inclusion Statement that we recently signed. That's last year. We co-signed with the German German government. Now, this digital inclusion statement has to do with bridging the gap on digital, the gap in digital divide, and also, promoting online freedom and privacy. So these are the key interventions that we've implemented that contributed to our score on the index. Now, my colleague will probably delve more into some of the areas that I touched.
Okay, I think Aaron has done justice.
Yeah, he's
to,
done a very good job
yeah,
at
quite-
letting us know
Yeah, so
all the pillars.
yeah, I'll just keep it very short.
Right.
With all that my colleague has mentioned, it tells you government's commitment towards cybersecurity development. Again, it tells you that government is trying to create an enabling environment for tech industries, for people within the space to feel free, especially developers and programmers. You know that these things have been put together to ensure that there's a framework that is securing some of the innovative products that we are bringing. Okay, so you might say that, so where did our tech industry, where do they come in all these achievements? The Act, for instance, before it was finally brought out, there were several stakeholder consultations, briefings where we met with various people who this bill actually is going to is of importance to them. Okay, we met these people, those that the bill is going to affect, for them to provide input into it to ensure that we had covered everything, the policy and strategy to same. So most of the initiatives that my colleague mentioned was with the involvement of various stakeholders within our digital ecosystem.
Right. So, it's very interesting. I've heard a lot of things, right from data protection to the legal instruments that were put in place. And one thing that was very interesting to me was the incident response reporting center.
Yeah.
I didn't know this existed.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
And I want you to elaborate on that a little bit before we go further into the conversation. So
Okay.
this is open to just, the businesses or even the general public, like any regular person can report a cybersecurity incident.
Yes. So in 2019,
Right.
the cybercrime incident reporting point of contact was established. Okay, it was launched by the sector minister, the Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Honorable Eslausu. She launched it on 1st October 2019 during the launch of our Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Now, before that, we didn't have a place or a go-to place where we could report cybersecurity incidents or cybercrime incidents when we fall victim to. So, like you mentioned, the 4 focal points for our awareness creation: business, government, public, children. These points of contact are open to all. Okay, there are 6 main points of contact. Okay, each of them have been carefully selected to ensure that they fit the demographics in which we are. So there's a WhatsApp platform. There is a call feature 292. It's a call and also SMS. There's an email, report@cybersecurity.gov.gh. There is an online form which is hosted on our website. You go there, there's a button called Report an Incident. When you click on it, it comes with a form. Then you are able to report an incident to us. There is also a mobile application that is also on iOS and then Android, where you can also report incidents to us. So anything, it's not only about incidents, but you are seeing these days there are a lot of things online. You are seeing something you want to verify. You want to see, these days there are a lot of fraud stuffs going on, employment scams, people are reaching out to you. You just want to verify if these people I'm really engaging with, are they authentic? Because there's a large pool of people reporting incidents through these points of contact. So we are also learning of things that are happening within the sector. What might be happening to you might have happened to somebody yesterday. So we know, you report it, we might have something like that. If it's new, we investigate further. Then we advise. So through this, loads of people actually have been able to, they've been advised and they have been able to prevent being victims of online fraud or phishing attempts, a wide range of cyber security. We last year, for instance, 2020, we had about 20,000 contacts only, about 20,000 contacts through the POC, which is quite, looking at the numbers, it's quite good.
Was that all points of contact?
Yes, through all the 6 points of contacts. Yes, through all the 6 points of contacts, we had 20,000 people. Some were also calling to check, just like as I'm saying now, people are hearing, they'll call to verify if what I'm saying really is there. So 292, you get people answering and then addressing your needs.
Wow, interesting. Winston, Michael, you guys have something to ask?
Not
Okay.
yet. Let's,
Not
let's
yet.
keep going.
Well, I'm still on the
I think-
incident response point because it's interesting. Being geeks as we are, and I'm sure you probably also get text messages and calls on your private phone line asking you, oh, I got this, or I've been hacked, or someone's broken into my account, especially the Facebooks and the Instagrams.
Yeah.
Are these kind of requests, do they also come to you?
Several of them. I mean, they cut across, okay. Impersonations,
Yeah.
account takeovers, fraud, I mean, which is the highest, of course, being reported.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it cuts across. There are several of them. Publication of non-consensual images, sexual extortion, sextortion. There are, I mean,
Right. So when
several.
they make these reports,
yeah.
do you, besides investigating, are you able to provide solutions? Like you help them. So let's say someone's account was hacked, for instance, and then there's extortion going on. Is your outfit able to help them, get to the bottom of it, as in nip it in the bud?
Okay, so my colleague rightly said we have international cooperation. So we
Right.
have cooperations with these social media giants, Facebook and co. We have some level of agreements with them. So you report that maybe your account has been taken over, something is happening on these platforms. Most of these platforms actually are not hosted in Ghana.
True.
Right. So that's the importance of the international cooperation. You understand? So that we are able to reach some of these people through that. So we have Facebook. Facebook actually owns Instagram and WhatsApp. So when you report some of these things, we become more like a medium. We work with Facebook to also get that thing rectified if they can. First of all, you should know that the platform is not ours. We can't just go in there and do anything we want. It also has to conform with things that they are also against. If it does, or they are able to verify and know that yes, the account belongs to you, someone has taken over, then something can definitely be done about it. And also, cybercrime investigations also take time.
Yeah.
Right. We work with relevant agencies. So if you report maybe issues concerning financial crimes or something, we work with the Bank of Ghana Security Operations Center. The Financial Intelligence Center is also there.
Okay.
It has to do with pure cybercrime. The CID, Cybercrime Unit, is also there. We don't do arrests. Okay.
Right.
So we do preliminary investigations. We have, some of them are represented within the center. So we work hand in hand with them. It takes time. We are serving over 30 million people. There are several reports. We work on them. So these are some of the things that we do when incidents are reported to us. In the government sector, if something should happen there, we work with the National Information Technology Agency, their SOC, Security Operations Center, to also get in there and do the necessary things that we have to do to remediate some of these incidents.
So it's actually really interesting, like you mentioned, the turnover rate, about it being taking some time, because that was the question I was going to ask. What is the typical turnover rate? Because Spiky has experienced recently, if you're trying to recover some social media platform, it takes a while.
Yeah.
So I would like to know that, have you been able to find a metric to show if it's faster with you guys as opposed to an individual going about it? Because you guys have all the, for the lack of a better term, connections because of your bilateral partnerships and everything.
Yeah.
So is it easier if I have lost my account? Is it easier for me to get it back through you as opposed to me going about it myself?
Okay, so what we normally recommend is that you start the process. Okay, maybe you reported, you're not getting feedback. You can get back to us and say, I've made this report. So going there, it makes it easier for us. This person with this account has made a report. We want to do a follow up. You understand? Then we can get the necessary feedback. Maybe this is what is happening. They are also pressured because they also have quite a number of users. So they are also dealing with this also. So, I mean, we do follow up. Someone also might not go through their personal reports and they come to us. We also do that. But through it all, it's not fully dependent on us. They also have their checks that we also need to respect. Yes, so they also go through their various checks depending on their procedures, okay, to get it. But definitely, there's a feedback. Definitely, there's a feedback.
Great. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle. MTN asks you to choose your own bundle. You do it your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Just dial *138# and enjoy bundles that don't expire. So you can send us a WhatsApp on 055 quadruple 1997 055 1111997. I'll say it one more time. 055 11 11 997. So based on everything we've heard from Isaac and Aaron, it suggests that we have almost everything in place, and that's how come we're at number 3. I said almost because I want to. If I say we have everything in place, then how come Tanzania and Mauritius beat us? Yes.
Not at all.
So what's left for us to do, Aaron, for us to beat Tanzania and Mauritius? I mean, it's the Cybersecurity World Cup, and we don't want to come third.
I mean, with Mauritius, I mean, they began their cybersecurity journey long before
Right.
we began. So I'm not saying that we need to have that defeatist kind of mindset that we can't catch up. Definitely, we always aim to be the best as Ghanaians. But then, we enacting or introducing this cybersecurity act pushed us to these heights, the POC, I mean the point of contact, and all those key interventions. Now there are a lot of interventions or initiatives that we are yet to even implement. Now I can't really disclose most of them here, I mean, because it's kind of security sensitive. But then the act, section 2 of the act, establishes a cybersecurity authority. Now the cybersecurity authority is going to be the national body that is going to regulate all cybersecurity activities, and the functions or the mandates comes with a lot of responsibilities and things that's, if with the collaboration from the private sector, from all stakeholders within the ecosystem, is really going to push us really high. Just the cybersecurity authority alone the cybersecurity authority is going to facilitate for streamlining of what cybersecurity activities in the country, protecting of what's our critical information infrastructure, also strengthening our incident response and reporting mechanisms, and even what's our research and development, towards our self-reliance as well as a country. Now we are even aiming on developing our human resource ready for even export to other countries. Now these are some of the things that's going to contribute to our progress, or to us getting to number 1, so to say. So there are a lot to be done, and we are not resting on our laurels.
So how can we, Michael, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, all right. I'm curious. Does your mandate cover international espionage? end or corporate espionage, target our guns, considering how now information technology is growing at such a rate that now you can't really separate those things as you could before. Because now, if someone wants to spy on someone, you do it through through the internet. You can do it through
Some IP
physical
address.
means
Yeah.
and still connect it to the internet. So now the lines are starting to blur a lot more. So whereas before you would get a separate security expert to do an audit that is for a company or a government office, now you need a whole team, including gentlemen like you, to come in and do a full sweep in order to make sure that this place is secure or protected. Do you cover that as well?
So, like I said, one of our key areas that borders on the one of the 5 pillars of the GCI, that's cooperative measures, that's international cooperation. One, you can't, if probably someone, a criminal in US, attack your system in Ghana, you just can't wake up and say I'm going towards.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah,
jurisdiction.
you need to, leverage on an international instrument. So that is why we thought taking that step to sign or ratify the Budapest Convention, the Convention on Cybercrime. Now that is also a legal instrument with a lot of provisions that covers these kind of things that you're raising or concerns you are raising. Now the Malabo Convention as well, and there are a lot of relevant conventions that treaties and conventions that we are in the process of ratifying or signing on to. So yes, our mandate, of course, the internet is a global commodity. There's no way that you're going to say you are pursuing cybersecurity and it's going to be just local. No, it's not done that way. So our mandate covers international cooperation, and it is through these international instruments or conventions that we'll be able to apprehend these criminals.
Okay, I'm asking. Well, I'm saying in relation to a specific incident involving the AU headquarters,
Okay.
where it was in Addis Ababa. I'm sure people know the issue I'm talking about, like incidents like that, and even sometimes look at how that happened. You then look at some of our locations here and you wonder, is this another brewing thing? Has this been covered or has it not? I mean, obviously, if it has or it hasn't, you can't say, because, like I said, it's an issue of national security. But is there at least something? Want to know? At least want to assure the listeners that it is something that you guys consider as well. That no bad actors, so to speak, are sitting there thinking, oh, but these guys will never deal with these things, will never take care of it.
I think it has to do with your state of preparedness. You understand? I mean, if you are aware that there's no field day with cybersecurity, you are not going to sleep. You are going to sleep for a second. The criminals are going to they are going to just launch on you or pounce on you. So we, as part of again, I'll stress on it, as part of the international cooperation procedures, I mean, we meet with our international partners to, just share ideas on what the strategies, best ideas to address these kind of challenges or concerns pertaining to our cyberspace. So yes, our mandate really borders on all those areas. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll put my colleague will.
Yeah, I
Squad.
think just to add on to what my colleague is saying, the bill, the act also mandates us to accredit service providers. Okay, so if you are in this country and then you are providing cybersecurity services, so like you said, maybe a setup has been done, maybe a building. The building would have servers and all that. Apart from that, the building might have firewalls and things. Those who are going to install those firewalls or the security of those systems has to be accredited by the cybersecurity authority. Okay, so they would definitely go through some form of processing, some form of procedures to ensure that they know their stuff, to ensure that some of these things that you are talking about, maybe sniffing devices that are going to pick up information here and there, these the things that are going to be installed within that facility might definitely, these firms might pick one or two of them. We are not saying that we are totally secured. Even America still experiences cybercrime, right? Cybersecurity incidents. So we are not totally secure. There's nothing like 100% security. So definitely, yes, this is an achievement, but the attacks surely will come. But as to where they will come from, we don't know. But these are steps we are taking to prepare. So like you said, the computer emergency response team has been set up to deal with some of these things should they happen. You understand? Because we understand that with all these measures that have been put in place, there are still going to be cyber attacks, but it's all about how are we bouncing back when they happen. What is our plan? That is some of the things that we need to be talking about. Yeah.
So I have a question on a lighter note. What are some of the most interesting laws in the act that you think the average Ghanaian should be aware of? Because a couple of weeks ago we had a lawyer on the show, and we were trying to figure out which things would be possibly be punishable by law. And I mean, she didn't have all the information because she doesn't particularly work with you, but she helped to shed some lights on so many things. So I'm sure our listeners are curious to some of the little things that maybe we do on a daily basis that we actually don't realize that aren't the best things to do.
There are several provisions. For me, from A to Z of the actors important.
Okay.
There are serious highlights. So maybe I'll give it out. I'll let my colleague Aaron start with some provisions that, I mean, has to do with maybe our daily use of internet services that users should, one way or the other, know that maybe we are doing it, but we do not even know that they are criminal, or the Cybersecurity Act criminalizes those actions. So we'll just touch on a few of them just to allow listeners. But if you want the full act, when you go to our cybersecurity.gov.gh, you can download a copy. It's actually out. So just for you to go through it. But before that, maybe we can just highlight a few, one or two that,
maybe the way we are using the WhatsApp is wrong.
Sure. I think I watched the program, last week's program on Sunday. The repeat is on Joy News, right? I think I watched it, and of course I followed how the conversation went. So the interesting bit of the arts, as you put it, has to do with section 62 to 68. It covers mostly on protection of children online.
All right.
Now 62 has to do with indecent image or photograph of a child. Now I'll just read what's the meaning to get the understanding of it. Now the 62 says a person shall not take take or permit to be taken an indecent image or photograph of a child. Okay, I wouldn't want to go more into it. So the act criminalizes it, and the punishment for it is imprisonment of not less than 5 years or not more than 10 years or both, or a fine not more than 5,000 penalty units. And you know, one penalty unit is 12 cedis. So you just do the maths. Now, section 63 has to do with dealing with a child for purposes of sexual abuse. Now it says, I'll just read a bit of it. A person shall not use a computer online service, B, an internet service, C, a local bulletin board service, or D, any other device capable of electronic data storage or transmission to seduce, solicit, lure, groom, or entice or attempt to seduce, attempt to seduce, solicit, lure, groom, or entice a child or another person believed by the person to be a child for the purpose of facilitating, encouraging, offering, or soliciting unlawful sexual conduct of or with any child, or the visual depiction of such conduct. Now the punishment under 8 is not less than 5 years or not more than 15 years. Now we have aiding and abetting of child dealing for purposes of sexual abuse, cyber stalking of a child, sexual extortion. non-consensual sharing of intimate image. And
Maybe let me break that one.
Yeah.
Non-consensual.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's very big.
It's
but
interesting, right?
yeah, it's very interesting. So we have disgruntled boyfriends and girlfriends. After having all the fun we exchange
Yeah.
videos and
videos,
things, and now we
pictures.
are no longer. Now you want to, revenge,
Mhm.
revenge
Okay.
porn and all
Yeah.
that. You now want to publish it,
AKA leaks.
making leaks and all that. So it's now official. It's criminal.
So if someone leaks
Yeah.
my nudes, I can come to you guys.
So let me help you. Let me help you with that. That's the just a explanation, a bit of an explanation to it. A person shall not, with intent to, cause serious emotional distress, intentionally distribute or intentionally cause another person to distribute the intimate image or prohibited visual recording of another identifiable person without the consent of the person depicted in the intimate image and in respect of which there are a reasonable expectation of privacy both at the time of the creation of the image or visual recording and at the time the offense was committed. I think I'll encourage everyone
Yeah.
to grab a copy of the Cybersecurity Act
Yeah.
since we are now in the
Yeah.
digital
And
world.
this act doesn't also just work in isolation.
Yes.
There are other
Mhm.
acts that
Work
have
with
been there since, but we have not really taken a
Hmm.
look at something like the criminal code. Okay,
Mhm.
you look at section 208. It talks about the publication of forged news with the intent to cause fear or harm. These days, you go to social media, and then news is flying everywhere. We take an incident that happened 10 years ago,
Yeah.
make it look as if it's
It's
happened
just-
today,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then we put a nice caption to it, and then it's flying everywhere.
So even clickbaiting is actually illegal.
Yeah.
So our laws actually frown on these things. So it's something that we need to look at, and it's growing. It's not just in Ghana, but lots of places, right, where we are sharing. And it's not only in the criminal code. Our Electronic Communications Act also says that Section 76, also sharing of false or misleading communication. They are all against.
So that's 3 separate acts with
Yeah.
sections dedicated to fake news and the sharing
And
thereof.
sharing.
You
Yes.
see, all those fake news are coming for you.
Yeah.
Coming
So
for each and every one
we,
of you.
we should all be on the alert.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or
Or
not.
ignorance
You are
of the law
supposed to do
is no excuse.
verification
Yeah.
before you even share.
That includes
Right.
WhatsApp forwards.
Thank you.
You see, you even said the thank you.
Right. So there's good news for small to medium scale business owners. With SME Plus, you get to manage all your operational costs and communication. This service simply allows you to choose from affordable packages and enjoy talk time, SMS, data, and business content all bundled in one subscription. The other exciting news is you get free on-net calls every Monday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Simply dial *5060# to sign up today, or you can WhatsApp us or call 0244 308 111 for more information. Stay connected everywhere you go. So, I mean, I've learned a couple of things, and I think next time before you forward that message on WhatsApp, do some verification, do some fact checking before you decide to act as a broken-hearted partner. Don't do it. Don't post that picture or that video. And if you have a website that is enabling people share this stuff, the National Cybersecurity Center is coming for you. I mean, you guys don't prosecute, but you would give the evidence to the CID, and then they will do the prosecution.
Most
It was
definitely.
great having you guys, Isaac and Aaron, and Winston, Michael. Thank you guys as always for joining us. Aaron, you want to add
can you
something?
permit just
Yes.
a second so that I put our social media
Sure,
platforms
sure, sure.
online?
By all means.
Now we are on Facebook, Cybersecurity Ghana. We are on Twitter, NCSC_Ghana. We are on Instagram, Cybersecurity Ghana. Now kindly follow us on all these platforms to get advisories, our upcoming events, and anything related to cybersecurity. And also, my colleague put out the point of contact. You can
Mhm.
just call 292. Just call 292.
Toll free.
292.
Nice.
292.
So you heard it.
Right.
If you have any cybersecurity challenge, call 292. And the cybersecurity unit will be there to assist you. I got one message. Please let them know I need an Instagram account for a company restored after we don't know the passwords or the email that created it, because those who left didn't leave any data. That's from Marian. Is that something you guys can help with? Try.
Let the person
so they should
just
call 292.
contact us through
Or
92.
Cybersecurity Ghana. Right?
Come again? No.
The social media handles.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity Ghana.
Cybersecurity Ghana.
Ghana Facebook. NCSC_Ghana on Twitter. And Cybersecurity Ghana on Instagram.
Great. So you heard that. Hit them up on social media. You can give them a call on 292. My name is Kobby Spiky Nkrumah. Once again, thank you to my producer, Prince Safo, Dennis the Fair Boy, Abeku Sankofi. We're out of here. Catch you next week. If you missed it, it'll be live on Joy News on Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Thank you.
Business a bit news to say. So the projections from the first quarter show a higher total gross profit for the fiscal year. A bit me a kasa saying.
Nana, goods not land you. He did the port right there.
A bit me a say.
Here are your items. Thank you for coming.
A bit me a kasa saying.
Yes, 2 for 10 cedi. Me no 10 cedi. 2 for 10 cedi.